Welcome back to the Lost Generation podcast. We are recording on a very sunny Wednesday.
Yeah, beautiful day.
It's Ling
Amazing.
again with Ming, and unfortunately,
David.
Ving.
Oh, Ming, yeah. You
Yeah,
can call me.
David.
It's like dead announcement. Unfortunately, God damn. It's like what a great start.
But yeah, how are you guys doing this week?
You're asking the audience or what?
No, I'm fucking asking you. If the
Oh,
audience
shit.
Alright,
cannot
I thought-
answer.
Oh,
yeah,
audience,
yeah.
okay.
Come on, okay. Yeah, I'm doing fine.
Everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
Nothing much?
Nothing much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See that you hang out with your niece. Is it? Your
Niece.
cousin? No?
Nephew.
Nephew, yeah, nephew.
Dude, can you see like women to men? Like, can
I
you?
can't really tell. I don't remember
Oh
it.
man, that's actually a good thing. You see people just like people.
Not like gender. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, all that aside, today's topic is soft language.
Oh shit.
Ooh.
This might be a little bit of a weird term for you guys, so anyone care to...
It's just like an obscure term of like a comedian, basically. So the term, no, it's a song.
So the term...
The term.
The term.
So the term was coined by a late American comedian. I think one of my favorites, and he was like the first generation of like comedians who kind of criticized fucking politics and pretty much anything.
One of the first generation.
Yeah, about like social justice and things like that. But he actually made sense. And his name was George Carlin. And he coined this term because he kind of observed politicians do this kind of thing where they just kind of try to hide offensive words and replacing by this kind of like mildly acceptable words. For example, like shock, fatigue kind of thing, you know, like just try to play down and downplay the situation in order for people to kind of like, oh, you know what, like it's not that bad.
Like not get
That's a
offended.
good thing. Yeah, not making people offended.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah, like sterilize every single words out there. So that is like the general consensus of like soft language. It's like the language that try to downplay our language in a way,
Okay.
which is interesting. In the Great War, which is the World War One, PTSD was known as shell shock because it's literally when a soldier has an episode because of like an ongoing battle where like the firing just kept on going and they got it like ringing into their heads. So it's literally shell shock. Like they are shocked by the shells of like the bullets.
Okay.
And then by Second World War, I think like the term kind of changed a little bit into like battle fatigue.
Oh.
Now like the term is much more kind of like relaxed. Sounds like
What
you're
is
just
it?
kind of tired. Man, this battle, man. I'm kind of tired of like dead people and
Okay.
shit. You know, fatigue means like you're tired.
Okay.
And like battle, you know, it doesn't ring like shell shock.
Battle
You know,
fatigue.
sounds like horror shit.
Yeah.
I got shell shock.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
in the Korean War, it actually changed to operational exhaustion.
Yeah. Again, like I'm not
cool.
sure if George Carlin was making fun.
Yeah.
And does the term actually exist? Like we don't know, but yeah, like they try. You know, you get what we are trying to say, right? Like it's literally kind of like sterilized from the neck down, and now it become like an operational exhaustion.
Yeah, from
Exhaustion.
fatigue to
Yeah, sounds like
Yeah.
you know, like I'm fixing my car. Like man, like I'm operational exhausted.
Like it's a marathon or something.
Yeah, it's like I'm tired of my wife.
tired.
Like I'm operational exhausted of my wife. You know, it sounds dumb, right? And then nowadays we call it PTSD, and I mean, to me, I think the term kind of fits well to describe like a bunch of categories of like this disorder of post-traumatic events kind of thing. So I think it fits. But what George Carlin was trying to say is that like all of the words these days are being sterilized to a point where you don't even know what it actually means.
Yeah, yeah.
And does it actually have any effects on people? Because like you don't want to offend people in a way, you know. And that's what like the whole point of soft language. Hope you guys kind of get it. I don't know. And then what is social?
But it's right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
One prime example of not getting the full meaning of the word is the word that the CIA used. They no longer use the word to kill someone.
Yeah.
They use the word neutralize the target.
Yeah.
Okay.
And in my mind, I thought neutralize the target means like use a buzzer or something,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something to
I was
like
thinking of
make
that
them.
too.
It's like
neutral.
you killing cockroaches.
Just
I'm neutralize this.
some of the examples can be false teeth, can become dental appliance.
Makes it more like appealing and
to the
like
people.
being more polite. I think. Yeah, that's.
Maybe information became directory assistance. Just a whole new words for just
Big
information.
words. Yeah, these are the words that you should use for your essays.
Exactly, for like IELTS or something.
If you want like 3,000 plus essay like that you use soft language.
You will sound intellectual
Yeah.
after that.
I neutralize a directory info. Like, wait, what? That's some Star Trek shit. Come on.
Serial killers into homicide enthusiasts.
Yeah.
Homicide enthusiasts, man.
My hobby.
Sounds like a crazy people, man.
That's like my hobby, man. Yeah, I love like homicidal like enthusiasts. So, like, wait, what? So it's literally trying to kind of like appeasing you in a way as well, right? Like it tries to downplay, but also kind of like, you know what? Like it ain't that bad. You know? Like it's polite in a way to talk about that. Like for example, again. Old people means senior citizens.
So
you know?
senior citizens.
Yeah, politicians usually do this.
That's polite.
Yeah, for that one, I'm fine. I think it's
that's
fine.
supposed to be, yeah.
So upon watching George Carlin and then kind of look into like soft language, I kind of realized one thing that maybe soft language is a part of PC.
PC.
Yeah, political correctness. Oh,
Okay.
You care to explain?
good.
What is it about?
Oh, PC like video games. Laptop. Oh, okay. Hear me out then.
Okay, I'm interested.
So PC is like an umbrella term to describe language, policies, or measures that are intended to avoid offense or disadvantage to members of particular groups in the society.
Yeah.
So I just find it quite like jarring to see the similarity between soft language and PC. I'm gonna think of one example for PC. Okay, so I think like there was a football team that was called like the Redskins in America. And that term is quite offensive because it's literally like the mascot was like an Indian, an American Indian. So it's very offensive, and there were like backlashes and also controversies surrounding it, and they are trying to change it, I guess. I don't know, but that is one example where the situation was a non-PC kind of cultural appropriation happened.
Okay.
And this is like a very Western term. However, I think like it's kind of implies soft language is a part of it as well. Maybe a tool of it, I guess.
Yeah, I think soft language is a tool for PC.
I
mean, you can use other words like indirect language or double speak, or they even
Oh,
have
double
word-
speak is like a 1984 reference. To me, I think like PC deserves one topic, one episode alone. So we're not going to dive into it, but to me, I felt like PC can be both a good thing and a bad thing sometimes. Like sometimes I think like we are overly judging people just because like maybe they don't really understand what they were trying to say. But sometimes it's good to remind people that you should be, careful with your words or the way that you are using one's culture to do this and to do that. So it's fine. So maybe to me, and I'm asking you guys as well, is that do you think a soft language can be a bad thing? I think we know, but like what can be like an example where soft language can be a really shitty thing to do?
Yeah, I think it definitely depends on the situation.
Oh, yeah.
One really bad example that I could think of is that pedophiles, they rebrand, in quotation marks, rebrand themselves as minor attracted people.
Oh yeah.
And they try to sign up for the LGBTQI plus.
Yeah, it's a
community.
big deal these days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they say that we're just different. like you guys. I'm like,
That's just so creepy.
Love
man.
is love, baby.
yeah,
Love is love. Yeah.
It's not our fault. It's just something inside our brain. Yeah, just. Is it?
Dude, it sounds like a confession. It's just in my brain, bro.
What, man?
So yeah, I think it's really horrible because they are changing the whole meaning of a word.
They also have like all the terms to describe like child, like boy lover or like my younger lover. Yeah, a lot of them call that. I think like there was one side of like North American man boy association. It's literally like a pedophilia organization where they kind of accept like in history there has always been like a love between men and boys. Like that's fucked up.
Like small, like kids.
Yeah, it's literally called themselves like an association. They just call you guys like a group. Like, what's association?
5 people.
Are you like making contracts? Maybe fucking slave contracts. I don't know. But like they have this kind of
Ew.
term to kind of downplay the fact that they are making
They're
offenses.
sick.
You know, they are kind of sick as
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
and they need treatment. That's the thing, you know. Pedophilia to me, I have never considered it like a sexual orientation. If you have that, dude, you should check into a hospital or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, like they brand themselves this kind of thing. They parade themselves and then they try to put themselves into like fucking
Just too
LGBTQ
fun.
plus,
Yeah.
which is like a lot of pro-gay organization do not accept them. Which is a good thing, thank God. But some of them actually kind of consider them, which is fucked up because like they hear this term, and then it gets into your mind, you know. And that's the core point is that when you hear about it repeatedly,
yeah.
you kind of get used to it, and then somehow you feel like, oh, you know what, like soft language is not that bad, and it can be a fucked up thing,
Yeah.
especially for this
That
this
bugs
case.
me a lot because they're changing the entire meaning of a topic. I think it's also called fallacy. I'm not so sure, but in Vietnamese it means đánh cháo khái niệm, and I fucking hate that shit.
So it's not even like downplaying, but like it's literally changing
The whole
the
meaning
subject.
of it,
Yeah, yeah,
The
it's
whole
fucked
context.
up. And you can say that with the homicidal enthusiasts.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
Like, don't describe yourself like that. And killing people ain't a hobby, bro.
Well, like you're interested in killing people or something. Like,
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Like,
Enthusiast. It's a word to describe like an intern. Like, and then you put it in as like,
life ain't a CV, bro. You can't describe yourself like that.
yeah, but
I don't describe myself as like a shitter, you know,
Yeah.
or like a piss taker. Like that's dumb. I take a shit.
yeah.
You know, that's what George Carlin kind of warns it, because like he directs this into like politician, into organizations like the fucking man boy thing. So yeah, I totally agree that sometimes your soft language can be this thing where people just change the entirety of the subject and then make the subject into like this acceptable norms, I guess. Another thing that I kind of notice about people who use soft language is that a lot of people, when they are being condescending, they would use soft language to kind of be like, oh, you know what? Like, I totally understand you. However, I'm like higher level than you, and I'm still judging you.
Sounds like someone we know.
Well, that's why I understand this clearly. That's why I wrote this down. No, just kidding. But like, you get what I mean, right? Like, for example, you try to be like, no, I totally understand you, but like,
Like
that's your level and it's fine.
Oof.
when you get
You
a
know?
bad grade.
Yeah, like
You got
with your
D.
intellectual capability, I do believe
D is all right score with you.
it's the appropriate evaluation for your intellectual. You know, like, that's soft language
That's
to you, bro.
condescending,
That should be
huh?
a politician.
That sounds like a teacher. You know, you know what? You know, you ain't bad.
I
Like
got
so
that all
kind
the
of thing.
time. I got that all
But
the
they are
time.
hiddenly judging you.
Yeah, another example I could think of is soft language in workplace or in school. For example, when you receive a feedback for your work or your essay, and the teacher or your boss kind of use soft language.
Get the fuck over here.
Yeah, Marc is fixing his pants behind me, but I'm just gonna ignore that. When they give you feedback in soft language terms, my problem with soft language is that when you downplay a word or a situation, people can interpret different meanings, and it can stray pretty far away from the original meaning of the word. So yeah, like kill
okay.
and neutralize, we have totally different idea of what that means. So Mark, you were a tutor in RMIT, right?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and you use soft language all the time, right?
Yes.
When?
How was it? How was it?
When?
You tutored me
Oh,
sometimes.
because you don't know, bro. I use it a lot on you.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize.
Yes, I mean, that's the whole point, I think. George Carlin was trying to criticize not only politicians, but like the higher authority in a way. So it means like teachers, program tutors kind of thing as well. We are the people who have this kind of like authority over
Power.
people,
Yeah,
over
knowledge.
students in a way. So my experience with program tutor in a way is that you're going to meet a variety of people with different levels of skills.
Okay.
Yeah.
And sometimes, some good at this, some good at that. And I can't be judgmental because it's actually like a code of conduct for program tutors to do, to kind of adhere, that we do not judge people based on their capabilities, on their gender, on their backgrounds as well. And that's why I always have to stay neutral. But sometimes I commit like soft language just literally every single day. Yeah, you know what? I think with the qualification that maybe you are persisting right now, it can be a good thing. However, like that kind of like double down.
Talk to me like that, I'm gonna be really fucking tired.
You're gonna be tired for sure. That's why like students don't want to kind of come, because like they want answers. But like what program
And then
tutor
you're just
did,
like running around with them.
yeah, what we essentially had to do was that we had to run around the questions. We can never give them like a full answer,
straight bullet
We can't say like, oh, that's like 2. No, bitch. Don't say that. What about 3?
What about 1 and 3? How about 2.5?
What about 2.5?
What about the alphabet? Have you ever considered that? Like it's very condescending
don't
to
give
me,
them, like,
and
the
that's
real
why
answer.
like it's so fake. No, I mean it's a good experience to me.
But it's your job.
It's my job, and I'm not trying to like judgmental or something. I'm just literally trying to kind of like bringing them up, try to get them into like the critical thinking that they should be.
Such a psychopath. Man, this guy manipulating on what I understand for the last 2 years.
Man, that's why you come and you ask me question, bro. Hey, man.
How's it going? Yeah, but about this.
Well, have you ever considered with your intellectual
Why did I got a
capability,
PA for that? Oh,
with
this
your
guy.
I mean, PA is not bad
Bad
with
for
the
you.
qualification that you once had in high school. But I had to tell you that sometimes the educational capability of people are vastly different.
This guy.
Like what?
This guy.
Just say I'm dumb. Sometimes like, please,
Just say that, please.
Dumb.
Just say it.
please, I'm dumb. Just say it. Anyway, no, it's fun. It's fun. A lot of people. No, it's actually sometimes
It's
like
cool.
it's a cat and mouse thing. Like,
Oh no.
one more example would be a person who is just really into this kind of like terms and stuff like that,
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
don't want to offend people, and they're just constantly thinking of these wordings, these clunky wordings to please people, even though that particular person that they are pleasing to, they don't want it. For example, he met a disabled man, and this disabled person was talking to another person, and that guy was just being like, oh, you know what, with the injuries, with the disadvantagement that maybe you have in the world, and George Carlin was saying like he knew what he had. He knew that he was a crippled, and you can say it out loud because you are not offending him, but you are doing this just because you are trying to moral licensing yourself. Now, moral licensing yourself literally means that you feel bad about it, so that's why you try to please yourself
Yeah.
by using these words, but not necessarily pleasing that person that you are referring
But to
to.
you.
But just to you,
You
like
think you are pleasing the other person, but actually you just want to
Yes.
please yourself. Make
Yeah.
you
Just to
feel
not
better.
feel
yeah,
guilty.
like
Yeah.
see, I'm not a racist. See, I'm not like a sexist. See, I'm very into social justice. So in a way, like they are using soft language in a very surface level to kind of just please them.
Yeah.
Kind of goes into like the self gratification theory that maybe we talk about in the media. So in the media, politicians, teachers, like pretty much any higher authority guys, they often do this, to try to like, you know what, like I'm totally open to like possibilities, but like they are judging you hiddenly. I don't know.
Okay.
Which is interesting.
Yeah, so we've been listing down some pretty negative examples of soft language. Did you guys ever experience some positive outcomes out of soft language?
I think one positive thing about soft language is that for some situation, it can be a good thing to use, like softer language. For example, a lot of old people, I think they are not necessarily like offended by the fact that they are old, but sometimes you just call like senior citizens or like ông and bà, and it shows your respect to the elders in a way.
Or like pass away and
Yeah, pass away. Oh shit, yeah,
That's
pass
what-
away and
that's what I
like
think
die.
of, yeah.
When chết and mất. Yeah, you call someone like, oh yeah, anh ấy mất rồi. It sounds more like respectful for certain situation like that, which is quite sensitive. You don't say like, wow, he
long,
dead.
He's long gone.
He dead, bro. It's like
He got
live
shot.
in a rap song, bro. Well, this is like a funny story. When I was in Sydney, I didn't know what cutlery means.
oh,
Yeah, I didn't know what it means, so I'm just like, hey dude, do you sell knives and forks?
Knives
And so
That story.
oh, you mean cutleries?
Yeah.
Cutleries. I'm like,
It's just-
what you mean,
it's
bro?
Just some common words there, bro.
Cutlery? Like I thought it was like pork cutlet.
Cutlet.
Really? What? No,
People
no.
use it all the time.
I'm not buying porks. I'm not buying porks. But it turns out like it literally like an umbrella term to describe forks, knives, and like this kind of spoons. Like just call it like forks, spoons, and knives. But I think like it's kind of like a soft language as well because like it sounds to me I'm like a farmer. Do you have forks and knives? And, oh, you mean bitch?
Like
you
a
mean cutlery?
countryside.
Like this is some like aristocratic term shit. But I'm just like yeah, like I need some forks. Like that story to me, I think like it's actually a good thing to use soft language. Like it sounds educated in a way. Not like me going into like, well, do you have forks? Oh, you have cutlery. Oh, okay, yeah, the cutlery section is over there. Like it sounds better, right? So I think like that's a good thing about soft language. No.
yeah. I remember there was this quote by a comedian. He said that I used to think I was poor. Then they told me I was not poor. I was needy. They told me I was self-defeating to think of myself as needy. I was deprived. Then they told me underprivileged was overused. I was disadvantaged. I still do not have a dime, but I do have a great vocabulary.
Damn, I heard this somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in a way, like it's trying to point out that we have so many words to describe like just like really simple ideas, I guess, which is interesting. And that's why like, I didn't know about cutlery when I came to Australia. I thought like that's just like very fucking posh British kind of fucking term. But it turns out like everybody knows about it. And I'm like a farmer. You have knives, to cut meat. Yeah, I was thinking very simple terms. Like to cut meat. Oh, you mean steaks? Cutlery for steaks and like dinner. I'm like, yeah, but like I need to cut like carrots.
Oh, you mean that?
Yeah, and that's the cool part in soft language is that it also kind of try to make the word sounds kind of fancier and so flowier, sweeter, I guess. And it's dumb sometimes. That is like both good and dumb.
Well, for the cutlery thing, you are dumb.
I don't know what you thought. Everybody knows about that, bro.
I was very
I'll be
specific
so
about my
honest.
choices. I'm not talking about dishes. I'm talking about knives and
So
forks.
you want only
Well,
knives and
they-
forks.
They are cutleries. But, well, that
Fuck
is-
you. Fuck the British language. Like, just call it fucking forks and knives and fucking spoons.
Some more fancy words for that.
I'm just kidding. But like, it's like a funny situation where you just kind of describe things because you don't know the words. It sounds fancy. And like, damn, that sounds fancy. So now I'm trying to use like cutlery, but sometimes I just go like spoons. Fuck you. I like spoons.
Yeah, I can think of one example. It's not actually soft language.
Yeah.
They just kind of say it in a different way, so I won't feel offended. But basically, many people told me that.
I was thinking about saying that. Yeah.
Have you ever thought about having your nose fixed or have a nose job? Like it looked pretty great. Or like when you use the dog filter, when the dog nose kind of cover your nose, you look like a hot girl or something. And I'm like, okay.
Well, continuation of pretty privilege.
They're not like they're not trying to like judge your appearance, but they just want to use a word that can pleasant you.
Yeah, they try to solve the situation because like it's an offending situation. It
Like-
can be an offending
I
situation.
know they mean well, but fuck you.
Oh,
But like,
that's your friend, right? Like I'm sweating now, like 'cause you're gonna meet them.
Someone we know.
I have never said anything like that. I'm just saying like, dude, like whatever. I don't care.
you don't really care.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm looking myself in the mirror. I'm like, I don't care about you. Fuck you. Be whatever you want. So okay, so soft language is very similar to like this kind of like double down speaking terms and all of this and all of that, I guess. PC as well. At the end of the day, I think it can be a good thing for certain appropriate situations. Sometimes you don't need to do it. For example, cutlery. I don't think like we need to use it.
About this.
I don't think that we need to use it. Just call it like,
This
do
guy.
you have forks, knives, and spoons? Oh, that section is over there.
Did you punch the waiter or something? He's being so salty with the cutlery stuff, man.
I didn't get invited, man. For like a posh party. They just say like, oh, you farmer?
Cutlery.
And you laugh at me when he doesn't know what condescending means.
Yeah.
No, condescending is like a theory.
Well, cutlery.
Cutlery is just a basic word.
Yeah.
Basic standard words.
Hear
bro.
me out.
Everybody uses
Hear
it.
me out. It's pretentious
Pretentious.
to use cutlery. Just fucking call
Being
it
condescending
forks,
is pretentious.
spoons, and knives. You know? Don't try to be like, oh,
This guy.
you mean cutlery? Bitch, you know what I mean exactly. You know, I'm not trying to be like farmers rebellion shit. However, I think cutlery is unnecessary, and that is the whole point of soft language sometimes, is that, dude, just say it out loud what you're trying to say. You don't need to find kind of like, oh, you know, like with your intellectual capability, your evaluation is quite inadequate.
Decent.
Like, what you mean, bro? Just say like, I had a D. And it ain't
You
bad.
had a D.
Hell yeah.
Oh.
A big D.
Last night.
A BD. But you get what I mean, right? Sometimes it's just unnecessary, and sometimes it can be a bad thing as well. To be honest, like a lot of people can take advantage of these words, and then because words sometimes stick to your head, so you kind of familiarize with it, and somehow that term that they were trying to use became like the norm, and that happens to like either pedophilia or people who try to justify
Even in politics.
killing, and literally what George Carlin was saying, that politician or everyone that has authority should be more transparent. Should just say what they want to say. If they hate the people, hate the people. Don't try to be like condescending and then judging us, but somehow try to relate to us. That's the whole point of like how not to use soft language, I think. So yeah.
Okay.
If you guys don't really know about soft language again, like we can explain it in the comments.
So it is
So I mean, I literally just told you guys.
another word for it.
Um,
Oh, yeah.
hell yeah, that is an example of a non-PC kind of cultural appropriation kind of thing. Bitch, we are talking about like important matters.
Cultural
We
appropriation.
Actually birthed like that, man.
We're talking about like important issues going on in our society and
Being
shit.
so serious over here, and then like birth.
You like,
Fucking.
you don't care about social
You
justice.
ruined the mood.
I'm the one who came up with this.
Social. But yeah.
Dude, can you cut the birth out? I'm kind of annoyed now. Um,